cosmic tales unfold. Join Power Maximus, Lord Triage, and the Darth Legacy Jason M40 on a journey through heroic realms where legends are born and destinies entwine. Delve into the cosmic currents, unraveling the mysteries of superheroes, villains, and champions. Embrace the cosmic energy that binds us all, and let your journey begin. This is the Super Breakdown Podcast. Enter the cosmic saga.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Jesus.
Loved us all.
We're finally here. Finally. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just taking a moment just to be grateful and happy that we're actually here and it's actually working.
Yep.
We are officially fucking 2 hours late? Supposed to start at 7 and they started at 9.
I'm surprised I survived this long.
I am too. This is ridiculous. All right. So if you don't know, this is the Super Breakdown Podcast. I'm Power Maximus. We're here with everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, who's, as you can, he's up there in the right hand corner, and then down below we got the one, the only Jason M40, the Darth Legacy himself. Say what's up, everybody.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Triage, you there?
Yeah, I'm in the process of trying to get my balls. Like, give me no mind.
Copy. Good dog. Okay. Cool. All right. So this episode is going to be part 2. I know things will look a little different. Things will look a little weird. But this is going to be part 2 because we are having so many fucking technical difficulties earlier. This is part 2 to our 3-part Harry Potter Wizarding World the special leading up all the way until our 3-year anniversary. That episode will be on the 15th of December. We will be doing a trivia game, and as of right now, I'm working on maybe getting us a special guest, and to see if she will be interested. She is a Harry Potter fanatic. I've been to her place, man. She has every single book. I remember one Christmas I actually got her the wand. I got her a few replica wands, official replica wands. So I'm gonna see if she's interested, if she's available to come on the show for the very special episode and dive into it. But today we will specifically be talking about the dark arts and the darker side of the wizarding world. I've recently been replaying through Hogwarts Legacy, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. As again, replaying through, I've already beat it. Now I'm playing through as a Slytherin now. I would have liked to have that gameplay up, but again, technical difficulties did not allow me to do so. But have either of you played Hogwarts Legacy?
I have not.
I have not, but I know about it, and some of the gameplay of it.
Well, yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, I highly recommend it to both of you. I highly recommend the gameplay to both of you. From the combat to the story, I think the story is really fun, and the pacing of the game too. And definitely the pacing in the game. It's not. I'm not gonna say it's like an A1 game because it does most definitely have its flaws. undoubtedly has its flaws. Most importantly, in the biggest problem would be in the RNG factor of everything. Picking up loot and stuff like that, and the loot being good loot. That is definitely that's an issue that this game definitely has. But I think
Are you saying that picking up loot and like quality loot is like rare?
I wouldn't say rare, but the way they have it set up is that it's not, well, at least the way it was set up before when the game first dropped was that like it was level based. It was level based. So, certain parts of the game you're only gonna get, this, this level
Oh,
here.
okay. So it's mapped out, like
Yeah,
all
it's
the
based
tiers.
off. So it's not based on the map. It's based on where you are in the story,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So let's say you do like every other RPG player does, and you do all the side missions first, before you
Yes,
get to,
naturally, like yeah.
yeah, and now you're over leveled for the missions. The gear that you're gonna get from the missions is gonna be garbage to you.
I get that. I
Yeah,
get that.
but
That is
then
literally the problem with any like RPG that a player plays because
yeah,
we all do the side quests first. Come on, we all
yeah,
do that.
but
Most of it.
yeah, most RPG players do. Just because like this gives you a leg up throughout the story. But
Yeah,
yeah, but the way this works is like but there's like I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to explain. There's like a certain limit though. You know what I mean? For like the area of the so there's about 4 chapters. So it goes through like 4 seasons. So while you're playing the game, you know that you've reached a next chapter when the seasons change. There's like a whole little cutscene of the season changing.
gotcha.
Because you're a student at Hogwarts. And I don't know, just the loot pickup is weird. So you really got to be careful when you're grabbing loot. And then the other problem with loot is that your inventory is ridiculously small.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
would piss me
Yeah.
off.
So you really have to be very decisive of what loot that you take and what loot that you don't. You don't get a choice. If you open up a chest, boom, the loot's in your inventory. But now you then have to go to a shop, sell that loot, or destroy. Do never destroy loot. Do not destroy loot. You don't get anything from it. Just take a moment, go to the Hogsmeade, go to a shop, and sell it so you can get some money from it. Because if you break it down, you don't get any resources from it. That's something I feel like they should have fixed. But anyway, so I bring this game up because this game, like the movies, has a very strong element of dark magic and dark arts. Heavy, very, very heavy. The entire game, that's all you're doing is you're going against dark magic users. But also, you yourself can also use dark magic as well.
Interesting.
I'm not going to tell you how, but there are choices, and the choices you make determine what you're able to get. Because there's people that have gone throughout the entire game based off their choices and have not unlocked any of the unforgivable curses.
Sounds like
Oh,
a
because
circle
they
jerk to me.
chose.
What was that? What was that, Triage?
Nothing.
but yeah, but there are people like me who my first run was a clean run, as a good run, but I realized when it was time to make that choice to get those curses, and I made the choice and got those curses. But then the rest of it, I was doing like good shit. I was a Gryffindor, so of course I'm gonna do good shit. But I don't know, a part of me was like, you know what? I want to be the worst fucking Gryffindor to ever live. Yeah.
You want to be Ron Weasley?
No, I meant like the most evil. I meant like the most evil Gryffindor to ever live.
That's funny.
But no, the game is. I highly recommend the game. Now, have any of you guys rewatched the movies since we've been going through this?
I have not. But I have a question for you, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
How long would it take you to get expelled?
All right, so expelled or sent to Azkaban?
Wow, those are two totally different questions. I don't know any, and I don't know any 8-year-old getting sent to Sing Sing. Excuse me, not 8-year-old, 11-year-old getting sent to Sing Sing. But
Can those things happen in the game?
No, unfortunately they cannot. You can't
oh,
use magic on other students.
hold on.
Oh,
So, do you start the game off as like a freshman?
No. So they're smart. I like the way they did it, and they stick very strong to the lore in the game. Very, very strongly to the lore in the game. So in order to go to Hogsmeade, because Hogsmeade is where all the shops are, right? Hogsmeade is where all the shops are. And in Harry Potter lore, students are not permitted to go to Hogsmeade until they are in their 5th year. So you start the game off as a 5th year, and you're just getting in. So you're just being permitted. So you know how Harry, the Dursleys were hiding, his letters from him, stuff like that. This is that, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something similar to that. You don't find anything out until later in your life, and so now you're a 5th year. So they're like, you know what? We don't want to start. Let's see what you start. You start your first year as 11 years old. I forgot how old you are by the time you're a 5th year. With 16, you're like 16, 17. Yeah. So
yeah, roughly.
yeah, so they're like, we're not gonna have this 16, 17-year-old starting off as a 1st year. So they're all right. We're just gonna admit them as a 5th year, and then you're gonna and then you just have to play catch up. But the thing is that your magical prowess, they're like, we're doing this only because your magical prowess is already on a whole nother level. We feel that you'll be able to catch up. You'll be able to keep up. So we're admitting you as a 5th year. And so that's what you end up doing throughout the game is you're learning all these spells, and they're having you go through. So it's like, all right, you're doing your normal 5th year classes, but you're also doing accelerated learning on the offhand. You know what I mean? So outside of classes, you're doing classes outside of your regular scheduled classes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like you'll go to class, and then after class they'll have a cutscene where they're like, all right, here, these are the things that you need to do that we're asking you to do. Right? It's very in depth. There's entire like a I think it's like 120 page field guide that you have to collect, and the pages are scattered throughout the map.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Trust me, man. That I found was the most difficult part of the game. It's collecting, because you can't finish the game, and you can literally beat the entire story. But after you beat the final boss or whatever, there's still one final mission, but you can't. It remains locked until you gather all those field guides.
And like only then do you finally like 100% the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things you got to do to 100% the game, but as in story mode, yeah, that's the last thing. And there's 120 of them, and now they are literally scattered throughout the map. And so there's ones that you find within the castle that are like flying around, and you gotta you gotta catch them, right? And they're also flying around Hogsmeade, and you catch them. But then there's ones that are invisible that you have to use a revealing spell to reveal.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then you can grab them there. And then there's ones that are part of a statue. You got to use Leviosa on the statue, and it reveals the field guide page there as well. 120.
Wow.
Scattered across the entire map. And the map is decent size. It's a decent sized map.
Like Ghost of Tsushima decent size?
Okay, so I'd say second island size.
Huh?
Second island size. Like when I first started playing, I was like, oh, okay, this is a decent sized map. And then I started getting towards end game, and I'm realizing there's a whole nother section on the map on the bottom that even when you zoom out fully on the map, you have to move over to the side and go down, even when you're fully zoomed out. in order to see this whole other section of the map. So with a decent sized map, you know, like it will take you some time. Like if you walked from the top, if you ran from the top of the map to the bottom, it's gonna take you some time to get there. Even flying, even flying on the broom, it takes you a little bit of time to get there.
Huh.
Yeah. But it's fun. It's a fun ass game. You only get you do only get certain spells. I can't remember offhand how many spells they are, but there's the 3 unforgivables there, and they're color coded too. So there's yellow spells, purple spells, red spells. There's blue spells, yellow, and there's like goldish green spells, and then there's the full on dark green spells, which are the unforgivable curses, and there's only 3 of those, right? But you can literally pick and choose. You get like a weapon, you get like a wheel, and you only get 4. You can only pick 4 spells that you want to use for that set, but you can change. You get like, it's so fucking weird. So, all right, so in one set you get 4, and then there's 4 sets that you can switch to during combat. And then there's your normal base blast. There's your normal base blast. You can boom, 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 and then you hit him with a special spell, fucking like Confringo, which is a blasting spell, or boom, 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 you know, Crucio, Imperium. Like, bro, the combos. Oh my god, the combos in this are ridiculous. Not to mention that you can take any enemy off of their feet except for like trolls. Trolls are the only thing that you can't kind of levitate or, you know, and stuff like that. But any
That makes sense.
any enemy, whether human or not, you can be in the middle of hitting them with your regular blast, Leviosa. Now they're levitating. Hit them with an Accio, you pull them towards you, blast. Depulso sends them away from you. And then you can keep blasting them. And then once your Accio recharges, because there's a cooldown on the spells, once your Accio recharges, you Accio and pull them back towards you. Hit with a Glacius would freeze them in the air. Hit them with a Resto Momentum would freeze it. Bro, the combos, you can just go crazy. Like, your enemies won't even be able to get a hit on you by like mid-game.
That's cool.
And then they have skill trees that you can level up with your skill points. As you level up, you get points that you can invest into certain areas. And they have one entire tree that's just called Dark Arts.
Wow.
And it becomes so broken that, yes, Avada Kedavra is in the game. It is in the game. It's a killing curse, and it's a one-hit KO. It's a one-hit kill move. And so, of course, the cooldown on it is ridiculous. But they have a skill in the game that you can get that will allow you to allow your regular spells to act as curses. So like if you hit them with like Expelliarmus, which is the disarming spell, hit them with the Expelliarmus, they end up with the green X on them, which means they're cursed. Hit somebody else with another spell, they're cursed. Now anybody that you hit that's cursed, everyone else that's cursed takes damage.
Oh, that's cool.
But then that accelerates to the point where that if you have 5 people that are cursed, you hit one of them with Avada Kedavra, they all die.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you can room clear. You can just straight room clear.
That's cool.
Yeah, bro, it's an amazing game. I highly recommend you guys playing it. Highly recommend you playing it. It is 100% worth it. There's no real DLC for it. Unfortunately, that would have been lovely. No real DLC for it. The cosmetics, the costume, the clothing, the fits, you can clearly you pick up equipment as you play, right? But you can also, and you know, when you equip that equipment, it boosts your stats based off whatever it says, and your character wears it. But if you don't like what you're wearing, you can change the appearance of that clothing. and have it look however you want. So whatever gear that you collect, no matter if you destroy it or sell it, you have the appearance for it.
All the transmogs.
Yeah, transmogs. Yep, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Transmogs. So you can transmog it to look like another piece of gear, but still have the stats of what you put on.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's a neat feature because that's liked in a lot of games.
Yeah, it's highly recommend the game. It's awesome. And then the stories is awesome. And then the lore that they go into is amazing. The lore is awesome. You get to see the ancestors for a lot of the characters that we see in the shows. The headmaster is Sirius Black's great grandfather. I think we talked about it in the last episode.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The deputy headmistress is Ron's great grandmother. I believe either great or one great grandmother. Right. And then there's this. Yeah, unfortunately, they took Quidditch out the game. I think they were just on deadlines and they weren't able to do it. So they took Quidditch out the game. And that's why they came out with the Quidditch game later on, separately from that. That does not connect or tie in whatsoever. But yeah, but this game has a real strong tie into the dark to pretty much to the dark arts. We hear about Grindelwald, we hear about Voldemort, as two big, bad guys. But then in the game you find out about there's somebody else as well. Oh, you also get to meet Tom Riddle's ancestor as well. He's from the Gaunt family. I don't know if he's I don't know if Tom Riddle's a direct descendant of him, but they are related. The Gaunts are related to the Riddles. The Riddles marry into the Gaunt family. But yeah, so it's so much, and you can learn so much lore just by roaming the castle. Don't get me started on the castle. The castle is massive.
My God, I can only imagine.
You can spend hours running around the castle.
Yeah, I bet. I literally bet.
Yeah. So, but turning from that, right? But we all have watched the movies before, all of them, and read the books, right?
Yes.
So, what is your guys' take on the dark arts and how it's portrayed in the books compared to the movies?
That's a good question.
So, well, as far as like the realm of Harry Potter is concerned, the dark arts were always considered something that was like taboo. It was something that you could dabble in and know about, but it was nothing that you could ever actually really use, which is one of the reasons why I think why someone like Snape, who actually truly was a dark arts master, perfected his own curses and spells the way he did.
Oh yeah, yep. As a Half-Blood Prince, he actually created his own spells.
Septum Sempra.
Yes, Septum Sempra, which was a slashing curse.
Well, it was supposed to violently wound the enemy, and technically, wounding someone is not the same as killing them. And it also showed that he had the ability to reverse the damage done by his curse. So,
yep, yeah. So I remember reading that scene, where Draco's pressing Harry in the bathroom, right? And pretty much Harry pretty much killed him. Harry pretty much killed him. If it wasn't for Snape coming in at that time.
Well, we have to remember that Snape is still undercover at this point, and Snape makes an unbreakable vow with Draco Malfoy's mother to protect him and keep him alive during his task to kill Dumbledore.
They got into a fight in the shitter. Yep. I was waiting for somebody to get a swirly if I'm keeping it a stack.
Honestly, word. Because y'all got to remember, Harry from the streets. You got to remember, Harry.
What?
Harry compared to Draco.
What?
Compared to Draco, the shit that Harry's
Oh
had to
my
go
God.
through. I bet
Yo,
you if they
Harry's
put
from
the
the
wands
streets.
down and just went straight hands, Harry's winning.
What? Listen. I don't understand the logic behind that statement. I get it. Harry had to struggle a little bit more because he's difficult, and he had a difficult life, and he had a difficult upbringing, and a lot of that. But this isn't Goku fighting Vegeta. This isn't
You're right.
fucking.
It's you're right. It's not. But I feel like if it came to a situation where like, yo, they couldn't use their magic and they had to scrap it out, Harry is scraping it, Malfoy.
Nah, I'm not gonna say that. I don't even think it would get that far because neither one of them looked like they had. Neither one of them were quote unquote tough.
That's true. That's true. But you got to admit, Harry had that dog. Well, snake in him. I'll say snake instead of dog, because you got to remember, Harry still had like. Remember, he has a piece of Voldemort inside of him.
Well,
That
Harry,
that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. So my whole thing with that is that gave him a certain natural affinity for magic, and it gave him a certain affinity for certain things. But other than that, like that never really served him. That's not like it wasn't like fucking Naruto with the nine-tailed fox. It wasn't he could be like, yo, Snake, give me the juice. That's not what happened. He wasn't that wasn't the case. And like I said, like Harry was never supposed to be that type of a character. He wasn't someone who was from the nitty. Like you've seen Creed 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't.
All
Yeah,
right.
he wasn't from the lower parts, the slummy parts of Philly, or
Yeah.
moved out to Cali kind of thing. No, you're absolutely right. But I don't know. I just feel like Harry knows how to do what needs to be done to get what needs to get done. Harry's a survivor.
Shark Tales. That is Shark Tales. You want to know why I'm going to say that?
Why?
Because Harry does not possess a killer instinct. He was never quick to end a fight. Every time he got into a situation, he always had help. He never knew what he was doing. No.
All right.
Nah. Listen, Luke Skywalker was more with the shits than he was.
Later. Yeah, okay. This is what I'm talking about, the toxic Star Wars fan base. Here we go. That's what I was talking about.
No, because you're not that. Because you're trying to compare him like he was with all the smoke, like he had hands,
that's
like
not
he
what I'm
could
saying.
fight,
I'm
like
saying
he
if
was
he's
tough.
pushed. I'm saying if it
No,
came down,
and I'm saying no. I refuse to agree with that. I don't
think he definitely wouldn't kill Malfoy, but I feel like he'd like get him to a point like, yo, I don't want to do this. Stop it. No, no, I don't want to fight. But he ended up bashing his head in with some shit accidentally, knocking him out.
Nope.
because no, I agree with what you're saying, because in the scene in Order of the Phoenix, after Bellatrix pushes or at least Sirius due to Bellatrix, Bellatrix blasted Sirius through that I don't know what the name of the artifact was, but it pretty much essentially kills him. Harry's chasing her down through the Ministry, and here's where
you're talking. Sirius. Yeah, she kills Sirius.
Yeah, but it has no effect. He just ends up blasting her and knocking her down, because the whole point of these unforgivable curses is that you have to have intent. You have to mean it. You have to want to inflict that pain, and you have to want to kill this person. You have to want to control that person. You have to have the want for it. So I definitely agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, because in that moment it showed that even though he had every right in his mind to kill Bellatrix, he still couldn't bring himself to put that harming intent behind his spell, his curse.
That's what specifically made him different from Voldemort, in my opinion. And I think, like, Harry wasn't necessarily tough, but he was capable of making difficult choices.
Yeah, There we go. I think that's a better way to say what I'm saying. If in that bathroom, and when that fight broke out, if it was a situation between Harry or Malfoy, and they were scrapping no wands, hand to hand, I'm seeing Harry smashing Malfoy's head through a sink.
You're saying Harry Potter would get to a point where he's gonna bite off Draco Malfoy's ear if he has to.
Oh God. No,
Listen.
this is not Mike Tyson, Jake Paul in the bathroom and with wands. It's not. But no, I feel like if it came down to that hard choice of like, I'm going to die if I don't do something now, Harry's making that decision and putting his head through something. He's not gonna feel good. He's gonna feel horrible about it after. Just same way like he did when he used Snape's curse and put him and damn near cut him in half. He felt horrible once that drilling came down and he realized what happened. It seems like, what did you do? What did you do? Like, he was like, oh my God, I almost killed him. Because you also got to remember, Harry does everything in his being possible to be as opposite of Voldemort as possible.
Yes, that's yeah.
Listen, all right, in my King Killmonger voice, is this your king? I will never try to fight someone to a standstill. I will never give someone a chance to surrender who has every intention of killing me.
No, I absolutely no. I'm behind.
And you're putting a lot of doubt on Draco Malfoy. So like, was Draco bitch made? Was he soft? Was he sweet in the ass? Yes, he was.
But hey, yo, sweet in the ass. Hey, whoa.
He was food. He was.
Yeah, I mean, what you trying to say?
My whole thing was he was from a family of bigots and racists. His dad was definitely on his ass, if not borderline abusive towards him. And then you also got to remember, like, the Slytherin's whole thing is nigga eat or be eaten.
That's very true.
So you're, especially with someone who is not in your league, or someone who you don't have. But this is one of the reasons why I say that these two mirror each other so much so well. Because once again, neither one of them really showed an affinity for anything magical.
That's
I'm not sure if that's something that's just not portrayed well. I'm not sure if that's something that wasn't written well. I'm not sure if it's just something that just wasn't done. But it's like, you can't look at them and be like, oh, they're prodigies in the craft. They're not. If anything, Harry was a prodigy in flying, and that was it.
That's crazy. You're well, no, they did say that he does have an affinity for magic. He was able to he's able to pick up in magic very quickly.
But picking things up quickly is not the same as doing them well. For example, back to Star Wars. Anakin Skywalker picked up shit that would take people 6-7 months to learn in a few weeks. And not only could he pick it up, he could do it phenomenally better than other people. This is one of the reasons why he felt like he was held back. Like, he thought he had rivaled Yoda as a swordsman by the time Attack of the Clones came about.
Was Harry Potter only powerful because he was a Horcrux?
Oh, that's the other part of it as well. That definitely goes right along to what you were saying there, Triage. That is definitely another part of it. The fact that he was a Horcrux, and then on top of his mother's magic protecting him. So that's the thing. They never said, was his mother's magic still protecting him after the initial thing, or was it just
his
in that
mother's
moment?
magic? His mother's love protected Harry only up until he was 18.
Why does it have a cutoff?
Because after 18, the that spell that protected Harry wore off because he was no longer a child.
But it wasn't. But that's the thing. It wasn't technically a spell.
It was the relationship to the family that he had with his mother. It was literally the genes inside of him.
But but even then, that didn't matter after the Goblet of Fire anyway.
Correct.
Because like he says in the cemetery, like, oh, it was old magic. It was something I should have foreseen coming. I couldn't touch you before. Oh, but I can touch you now. And like him putting the finger to his forehead the way he did, that was very, I don't want to say queer. That shit was very weird sexual energy, like the whole touching of his forehead.
No, he wasn't touching. He wasn't just touching his forehead. No, remember, he was pressing on his scar.
Nigga. He was fingering something, all right.
Well, remember, he was doing that to cause him pain, because remember, the connection between Harry and Voldemort, when it happens, when there's a connection between them, it causes his scar to burn. So by him touching his scar, it caused him pain.
Like, look, you defended all you want. I know what I saw.
Oh, it was definitely very sassy. He
looked at him, sticks his tongue out, bulges his eyes.
Like, nah, I get that. Nah, it was definitely a situation of like, when you finally get something that you've been trying to get for a minute, and you're looking at it like, yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think that Voldemort might have been a little excited.
A little too excited.
A little, yes.
Yeah. I mean, all right, so you got to think about it as a nigga that just came out of prison.
Whoa.
Oh my.
Whoa. I don't know what you're talking about or where you're going. So I want to know how we went from him being a bit of a toucher to him going, you talking about how he went for man butt. He went for Harry was like 14 when this happened too. Yo, you're doing too much right now, Howard. You trying to get us canceled. Oh my God.
No, but okay, whoa, I wasn't going there. What I was saying is the energy that Voldemort had was like a man that just came out of prison, and it's just like, the first thing I want is either a cheeseburger
or revenge.
Or a bench. What?
No, revenge.
Oh, revenge. Oh no. He was looking at it as like, he's trying to, the first thing, you ain't been around a woman in a minute when you're in prison. So the first thing you want is, it's, some cutty. You either want a Big Mac or some cutty. So Voldemort, he's like, I just got out of prison. I'm trying to do something. And then it gets weird when that something ends up, that intent is a 14-year-old. That's wild. I like everything about Voldemort was just creepy, and like his obsession with Harry was just wild and creepy.
Yes, it was. It was a little obsessive and creepy, but I think that's because Voldemort knew that Harry Potter was the only person that could stop him.
Yeah, absolutely. And
that's why there was this.
It was out of desperation. I feel like a lot of it was out of desperation because as long as according to Dumbledore and what Dumbledore says, as long as they both live, none can die. Neither of them can die.
That's the prophecy. Which is why Voldemort actually was so fixated on Harry, because Harry was quote unquote the chosen one from the prophecy, which is why in the very, very beginning, Voldemort seeks Harry Potter's family out.
Don't forget the Longbottoms as well.
Yeah, because it spoke of a boy born at the end of July, which happened to be Harry and both Neville Longbottom.
Yep. Yeah. So check this out. Here's something interesting. I was rewatching clips, and I can't remember what movie it was from, But it was the first movie that Mad Eye came into play.
It was Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the Goblet of Fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see that movie for Goblet of Fire?
Yep. And then when Mad Eye first came in, but we had to find out that Mad Eye isn't actually Mad Eye.
Correct.
He's what the hell is his name? Something Junior.
Barty Crouch Jr.
Crouch Jr. Yep. And so in the classroom, when he's like, all right, I'm your defense against dark art teacher. Y'all need to really know what y'all going against. I'm not gonna sugarcoat shit for you. We're going over the unforgivable curses. Right. And so he's going through that whole tirade asking, hey, give me some curses and I'll show you. And I'll show them to you. So y'all can see what you guys are really truly up against, right? He goes to the Imperious Curse. He starts laughing and giggling. They're having a good time and stuff. But he's like, oh, I don't know. Should I throw it out a window? Maybe I should drown it. Nah, what y'all need to understand is that y'all thought that was all fun and games and shit until y'all realize what this can truly do. You can have someone take their own life. You can have someone take someone else's life. You got to remember, majority of the people that were captured at the end of Voldemort's last reign pleaded that they only did these things, these horrible, unspeakable things, while under the control of the Imperious Curse. But then,
that's also because them niggas were basically war criminals.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's like you're being tried. You're being tried for the fucking Holocaust, and you're like, hey, Hitler made me do it. You did it. You did it. They're just trying to use the quickest excuse to get out of the fact that you did some fucked up shit. Some of them probably were under control of the Imperious Curse, but I'm pretty sure a majority of them made the decision themselves. Right? But then he goes on to the second one. And he's like, all right, well, and Neville his interest starts getting piqued. And he's like, well, there's the Cruciatus Curse. And he's like, good. All right, Neville, come here, come up and let me show you what it looks like, right? Because at this point, it's common knowledge. What I'm about to say is common knowledge within the wizarding world, right? Moody, Crouch Jr., uses the Cruciatus Curse, the torture curse, on the cave spider, and then it's squealing and like Neville's face is getting contorted and it's bothering him. Hermione pipes up, is like, "Yo, stop! It's bothering him." And Moody, he was like, "Oh shit! All right, you're right. Put us away." It took me a second to understand. Like before, I didn't understand why it was affecting him so bad. Well, it was affecting everyone, but it was affecting Neville Longbottom the most. And then it clicked to me recently. I'm like, oh shit. He only brought up the Cruciatus Curse because that's how his parents were killed. They were tortured by Death Eaters using using Crucio.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
that's why
how his parents died.
And that was him essentially seeing what happened to his parents. Because his parents were Aurors.
Yep.
Members of the original Order of the Phoenix.
Yep. And so, like that, and that really, really kind of like clicked to me, like just recently doing research on this, and I'm like, that's crazy. But then what Moody, the Moody imposter, ends up saying to Hermione, he's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. My bad. And he brings this over to her desk and sits on her.
What my
favorite
part about that scene is?
Yeah.
Like because the very next thing you're going to talk about is going to be the last curse, which is the killing curse. And as soon as Moody kills that cave spider, the camera pans on Harry.
Because the next thing that happens after that, he's like, now it's the last one. The killing curse. And there's only one person that's been known to survive this curse. And he's sitting in this very room. And walks over and stares Potter down. And then the polyjuice portion starts to wear off. He starts getting his little, Crouch's little shout out to David Tennant. First off, shout out to David Tennant. David Tennant is an amazing damn actor. Amazing damn actor.
Yeah, he was good.
For those of you who don't know who David Tennant is, he's one of the most famous doctors from Doctor Who. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. I love his acting. He did amazing. He's like, when he gets into a role, he gets into that role. But yeah, the dark arts, like it's they portray it as something that, yes, like you said, Triage, it's taboo. But the reasons why it's taboo is because they say it's addictive.
Well, I can understand that because it's one of those things where you said you bend someone to your will, you take someone's free will, and you can potentially take their life. So that makes sense. But like I said, my whole thing with that is that there's very few spells or very few duels that you actually see in Harry Potter that result in just someone being disarmed.
Hmm.
It's like,
yeah, like in real fights, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like there's no emphasis on like first blood dueling or like how do you disarm someone or end a duel and no one dies. Because a lot of the duels that you hear about, whether it be the one that resulted in Dumbledore's sister's death or how Grindelwald got defeated, like there's always some wild shit or some crazy stuff that happened or occurred during it. Or that person wound up exactly where they wanted to be in the first place.
That's very true. And there's a moment that I think Harry kind of realizes something like that, because we all know what's Harry's number one. What's his go-to? His go-to spell, Expelliarmus, the disarming spell. That's his go-to. But there's a scene that's also, I'm pretty sure it's also in the Goblet of Fire, where it's when they trying to do that diversion tactic. Everyone took a polyjuice potion to look like Harry, and they all went their separate ways, and then now they're flying through the air. Him and Moody, or him and Hagrid. I don't know. They're on the motorcycle in there.
That's the Order of the Phoenix.
Oh, it is the Order of the Phoenix when they're bringing him to the
that's when they take Harry from Pivot Drive for the last time.
Yeah. Yep.
And bring him to the Order.
Yep. And so there's he's in the death of Hedwig. Oh God.
That was very sad.
That was very, very sad. But
bitch ass bird.
That man, that bird has gotten Harry out of some bullshit before.
He said bitch ass bird.
But he's definitely gotten Harry out some BS before. But no, and so he's firing spells back, and he's disarming as much as he can, but I feel like he realizes that it's not worth it. He's disarming, but they're still coming. He's disarming and they're not defeated. They're not stopping. This ain't going the same way that it went on the dueling mat at the school. And I think that's when he starts to realize, oh, shit's different now. He knew, oh my God, it's scary. Things are bad. Things are alpha blood. But I think that's when he truly realizes that it's not just Voldemort he has to worry about.
Well, that's just like, look at the way Cedric Diggory died.
Exactly.
Oh, Cedric Diggory. Poor Cedric Diggory.
That was the moment where it was like, oh, not even so much Voldemort coming back. That was the actual moment where it was like, oh shit.
This is not a children's movie like anymore.
Yeah, there's lives on the line here.
Right?
He's just not coming for me. He's willing to kill anyone in the way.
I think that was the moment when Harry actually truly like became an adult in his head,
Yeah.
you know, and all these terrible things always happen to Harry Potter, and he knows that. But
I mean, I don't know. My thing about all this is that like I feel like Dumbledore should have did a better job when because Dumbledore was good, he was great, but I feel like there was he admits that he had his shortcomings when it came to dealing with Harry.
He was great at what? What was he great at?
You know exactly what he was great at.
Lying?
Yes. Absolutely. The only other time I've seen a man lie like that is when he was cheating.
Oh my god.
obviously, he Dumbledore and Snape kept the truth from Harry to protect him. But
Yeah, but I also feel like he did it too much, which in turn actually worked in I feel like it worked against them because he did shield him from too much. He shielded him from far too much.
I
And
think Dumbledore didn't prepare Harry enough for his own death.
oh, absolutely not. Absolutely. Well, pretty much like he made Harry so reliant on him that when he died, Harry didn't know what the hell to do. And it was a hard hit for him and he was lost.
And I thought it was a little sour, the fact that Dumbledore knew that he was going to die a whole year
Oh,
before so.
yep, absolutely.
And
That the plan was set up a whole year in advance. They knew what was going down. And
I think
it's
that's
wild that
why.
he didn't even tell Snape until essentially just before, until like the night before, I think.
Well, no, Snape knew because Snape is the one who gave him the potion that was going to extend his life at least for another year, because he was
Oh,
cursed.
you're talking about after the whole kind of like infery kind of situation when they're like when his hand got burnt up when they went to find the resurrection stone.
Well, his hand was
Oh,
cursed.
Yeah, it was
Dumbledore's
cursed. It was
hand
creeping
was
up on him.
cursed.
from trying to destroy Voldemort's mother's ring, wasn't it?
Oh,
Correct.
yes, that's what it
Correct.
was.
And we don't actually see that happen in the movies. It's talked about, and that's why Dumbledore's hand turns black. And Snape gives him a potion to keep the curse contained to his hand for at least a year before he dies. And that is when they make the decision. Dumbledore makes the decision where Snape is the one who must kill him. And that is the only way Voldemort will fully trust Snape in order for Snape to get
Well, technically,
Harry.
well, yeah. So we also have to remember that was all a ploy to secretly transfer the Elder Wand.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
remember, Dumbledore was the true wielder of the Elder Wand, right? Malfoy disarmed Dumbledore, essentially defeating him, which made Malfoy the true owner of the Elder Wand.
Oh,
Right?
that was all.
Yeah.
That was a clusterfuck. That was nothing he planned. That was a total accident.
Well, I think Dumbledore knew.
No.
He
Yeah, that
allowed
was the
Draco to
plan.
disarm him.
No, he did. I'm saying that was no grand plan that he thought out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
No, yeah, it definitely was. Because remember, Snape told Dumbledore that it was supposed to be Draco to kill him. So that was a part of the plan. He's like, all right, well,
Oh yes, that's true.
Yeah, before Draco kills me, you step in and you take the kill shot.
Well, he knew Draco was going to have the heart to do it. He knew Draco didn't have the balls for it.
Exactly. So he said, you step in, you take the kill shot. Because if not, Voldemort would have taken the kill shot. And then, you know what I'm saying? But
no,
it was...
I don't even think that was the case. Because you got to remember, there was fucking Bellatrix and all the other ones were in there also.
Oh, well,
someone would have killed him, especially because he was disarmed.
Oh, absolutely. So, either way, point is the Elder Wand didn't want to fall into the wrong hands. Now, mind you, they were arrogant in the tail of the Deathly Hallows.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Ignorant. I'm sorry, ignorant when it came to the tail.
They
didn't completely understand it.
Dumbledore knew that the ownership of the Elder Wand would fall to Draco if he allowed Draco to disarm him. And obviously that major detail he keeps to himself. Like that's the whole secret Dumbledore keeps
because they don't understand that the whole story of the Deathly Hallows, technically Dumbledore is a part of that story. At least when it comes to the Elder Wand, he's a part of the Elder Wand's lineage. So he knows what it truly takes in order to get the wand. Remember, killing the opponent was just for added measure. But of course, he's like, everyone thinks that you have to kill the opponent in order to retrieve the Deathly Hallow. No, you just gotta disarm them. You just gotta defeat them. That's what they kill them, defeat them. So Snape told him that, yo, it's Draco's job to kill you. And he's like, that little pussy ass, he ain't gonna do shit. He ain't gonna do it. We're going to allow him to beat me so that he has ownership of. Oh no.
What?
No, I'm so stupid. That wasn't the plan. Because remember, technically, Draco didn't defeat him. Dumbledore let him defeat him. Let him.
Correct.
Yeah. So
correct. Dumbledore allowed Draco Malfoy to disarm him, knowing that the ownership of the Elder Wand would fall to Draco Malfoy.
No, and that's the thing. That's the thing. It wouldn't. The whole plan was for the Elder Wand lineage to end with Dumbledore, because it's not. Is it? So let's say you're fighting somebody, and they let you win. Is that a win? Did you really beat them?
If it's a disarmament, it's yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I'll put this.
If they let
Let me put it this way. So you remember the episode we did last year with about Dragon Ball Z?
Mm-hmm.
How we went over the sayings?
Yeah.
So remember how Lloyd was like how Vegeta's never once beat Goku in a fight?
Mm-hmm.
Yet when they fought and Boo was absorbing all their energy, Goku neglected to go Super Saiyan 3.
Mm-hmm. What you getting at there?
That's the whole point. So, because he could have gone to a whole nother level of power, showed Vegeta that he had no chance of catching him, and put a whole brakes on the fight, so the fight didn't even have to happen.
No. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying now. But what I'm saying is the plan was, because if Draco disarmed him, right? Technically, Draco disarmed him, but he let Draco disarm him. Technically, Draco did not defeat him because Dumbledore allowed himself to lose or let it happen.
But the whole point is the ownership of the Elder Wand can only pass to another through disarmament.
That's the thing. And that's something that I realized later on after the movie. There's no longer a technical owner of the Elder Wand anymore.
But that's not just the Elder Wand. That's wands in general. Because remember, the Goblin told him about that. When he took who was it? Bellatrix's
wand.
Yeah.
He
says
the
wands are kind of sentient. They choose who they choose. Wands choose the wizard.
So think of the Elder Wand. Think of the Elder Wand like Thor's hammer. You don't necessarily need physical strength to pick it up, but whoever it deems worthy of its power can wield it.
Yeah.
So it's like if it deemed by disarming that person lost a quote unquote duel. My air quotations.
Remember, it wasn't the wand that chose that. It was Death, the creator of the wand, that said only by defeat in battle will this wand move to another. But if Dumbledore was not technically defeated, he allowed himself to lose and to die so that
Yeah,
the
I get what
lineage
you're
of the
saying.
Elder Wand would die with him.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's the point. Like I get what you're saying. Like I understand your methodology.
Yeah, he's like,
behind
yeah,
what
to
you're
me,
saying.
Dumbledore's like, yo, listen, we cannot let anyone on the dark side get their hands on this wand. So it's
But the
dying with
thing
you.
is, I think that Dumbledore knew that Voldemort was going to get his hands on the Elder Wand anyway, which is why he allowed Draco to disarm him. And nobody else would have known that Draco Malfoy was now the owner of the Elder Wand. And Dumbledore knew that the Elder Wand was not going to work for Voldemort, and Harry would be able to defeat him.
But check it out, though, right? If
Because the whole thing with the
Wand,
Elder Wand is it's an unbeatable wand.
yeah, but here's the thing: if the wand, if the lineage dies with Dumbledore, the wand stays. The wand's still there.
Yeah, but the lineage didn't die with Dumbledore.
But it's no longer unbeatable because he allowed himself to be. So no one truly defeated Dumbledore. Dumbledore was never truly defeated.
Well, yeah.
So even when the wand went to Draco, if Draco knew and used that wand, it would not have been unbeatable. Because
if Draco knew and used the Elder Wand, he would have been undefeatable unless somebody disarmed him.
He wouldn't have been because the spell was broken with Dumbledore.
No,
he broke the spell on the wand.
No, the whole point of the Elder Wand being undefeatable only through disarmament. So unless you disarm someone or like who's using the Elder Wand, that's the only way you'll be able to defeat them.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It doesn't count. The disarmament of Dumbledore doesn't count because he allowed it to happen.
Yeah, but that's not the point. That is literally not, like, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that's the point. I get what you're saying, and I can understand how it would be thought that way.
I don't know. What are your thoughts, Rio? Do you see what I'm saying? To me, I'm seeing it as it didn't count as a defeat or a disarmament because Albus allowed himself to be disarmed. You know what I mean? Or is the wand running off a win's a win? You know what I mean?
We should be able to Google this.
Yeah, we should. I'm gonna Google this because I'm pretty sure
there should be like a whole explanation on it.
Hold on a second.
Somewhere.
All right. To own the Elder Wand in the Harry Potter universe, you must disarm the current owner of the wand, meaning you must take it from them without necessarily killing them. The wand's loyalty switches to whoever successfully disarms the previous master, regardless of whether they kill them or not, as it is solely based on power and victory over the current holder. Hold on, and then it has some other things down here. Key points about the Elder Wand. No need to kill. While many believe you must kill the previous owner to claim the Elder Wand, this is a misconception. Simply disarming them is enough to gain its allegiance. Loyalty to power. The wand is completely loyal to the strongest wizard who has defeated its current owner, not necessarily the most morally righteous. Example, in the Harry Potter series, Draco Malfoy briefly. Oh, okay. Fuck it. I still feel like it shouldn't count, but of course they're going with the fucking lore. I don't know. I guess what I'll say is that that's the flaw that I find in the lore when it comes to that.
And I completely understand it.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not bugging. I'm not bugging. I'm on the right track. It's just that's not what JK wanted. Okay.
It's intricate.
Yeah. I okay. All right. Whatever. I'll take that L. Unfortunately, it annoys the hell out of me because I'm just like, it don't make sense. Like, how's it a win?
Yeah. No, I get.
If it was allowed,
because it's like the opposite of what.
Yeah.
Of what happened. Like I get
Remember,
what
it says
what you're
it
saying.
says the wand's completely loyal to the strongest wizard, and it's
the
like,
next
and
the
it doesn't
next
matter about
strongest wizard that was present was Draco. That was on the tower.
Snape was there.
Not before Draco was.
Okay, I guess so. The duel started between Dumbledore and Malfoy. So,
And it's funny because Harry was there hiding.
Yeah. So my thing is, I just feel like that shouldn't have worked. And so I'll say this way. So I feel like that shouldn't have worked because if the wand's loyalty goes to the strongest wizard, and the strongest wizard it determines the strongest wizard based off the defeat of its current owner, and that defeat has to come by disarming them.
But
for me, it shouldn't work because is it truly disarming if one allows himself to be disarmed? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, 100%, 100%. I understand what you're saying,
'Cause
but
like,
I think that if you understand Dumbledore and like understand his thinking, like you'd know, like you'd fully believe that he allowed Draco to disarm him. And I think that's the only time that he's ever technically been defeated.
So it wasn't so much a defeat as it was a friendly quit. All right.
Okay. Yeah. You know, all right. I guess I'll eat that. Okay. I'll take that. But I still feel like it would have been a smarter play for Dumbledore to play it that way.
There's a lot of shit he could have did that had been smarter plays.
100%. 100%.
Very true. Very, very true.
My God.
Very, very true. But I also do get it. And then Harry technically became the owner because he disarmed Draco in that whole squabble that they had inside the house.
But listen to that, man. That right there to me makes no fucking sense because Draco technically never even physically wielded a damn wand.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah, he
right?
technically did not have the Elder Wand in his hand because Voldemort took it.
He never had it, period.
But the allegiance that the Elder Wand held to was his.
Yeah. So technically, it was like, hey, well, hold up. You're supposed to be the strongest, and you getting disarmed. Well, you know what? Yeah.
But that's another thing too. It's like
you probably have a stronger point than I did.
What clarifies as being quote unquote the strongest?
And that's what I'm saying. Because I'm saying the strongest would be, all right, you were able to disarm this person against their will. You were able to impose your will over your opponent. and take their weapon from them. And what I'm saying is, if your opponent is allowing you for you to take their weapon, you're not imposing your will onto them. You're not overpowering them. Thus, you cannot be stronger than them if they are allowing you to win.
I guess the magic of the Elder Wand doesn't care.
That's what I'm saying. I think the Elder Wand's like, hey, a win's a win. Win's a win.
My least favorite part of the entire Harry Potter franchise was when he snaps that Elder Wand in half.
Oh, that
I wanted to walk out of the theater.
Oh my! I wanted to punch him in the face. I'm like, there's way better choices that you could have done.
You are literally the owner of all 3 Deathly Hallows at once and are now the master of death. So you break one of them and throw it away.
Like, you could literally have just hidden the shits away.
No. Hold on. So let's knock this one out of the park real quick. That has worked for every other person who's gone after a Deathly Hallow, right? Everybody who has possessed one has either died because of it or has been corrupted by it. The Elder One alone has been nothing but a symbol of turmoil and death, because some wizard in the beginning had a hard-on to prove that he was the greatest.
That's true.
If anything, the breaking of the Elder Wand made sense from a story point standpoint,
because it gets rid of something that people would try to obtain, and it destroys conflict. Destroying the wand destroys conflict.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
But now here's the thing, though. Well, I guess at the end of the day, Harry was the essentially kind of unwilling hero. He didn't want any of this shit. It just happened to him.
It just pissed me off
because
that...
I was what I was gonna say was like, well, for me in my mind, I'm like, all right, I just saved the whole damn both wizarding and Muggle world. Let me hold on to the strongest wand ever made, so that if some shit ever pop off again, I'll be able to protect everyone from it.
And what makes you think he's been able to do that? Once again, don't confuse his story with a level of excellence that he does not possess.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Now, when you take it back and look at that, Harry was never the hero, really. Anyways, he really didn't want to be the hero. It was something that was, hey, this is what you got to do, or mad people are gonna die. Everything that Harry has done throughout it has all been out of 100% necessity, not something that he wanted to do. It's something that he ended up needing to do so the people who cared about it could stop dropping like flies. He never wanted to be a hero. He never wanted to be, the boy who lived, the one that was the chosen one. He never wanted.
He never wanted it, but he probably took one look at Neville and realized, wow, it's a good thing it's me.
Listen, Neville had a more impressive character development than his ass did.
He did. Neville did.
He did. Yeah, that's very true.
Even in real life, I'm not gonna lie. Even in real life, Neville had a better character development. Like, this man's fucking on cover of magazines now and shit.
He, out of any cast member, I think he was the one who changed physically the most growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. All the rest of them look fucking exactly the same.
Yeah.
They look exactly the same as if they were kids. But like,
yeah.
Listen, I think the whole thing with him breaking the Elder Wand, was it story accurate? Was it what people wanted? No, but it made sense
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it did. Like, yeah, we can take Excalibur and stick it back in the stone. We can take the Dragon Balls and let them go hide off in different corners of the earth. But at some point in time, someone's gonna come along who has the capability or ability to find this thing, who's gonna have no good intentions for it.
Always.
You're right. You're absolutely
It's
right.
inevitable.
So, like, yeah, I get the whole thing of people being upset about it, but it's like from an actual standpoint, it makes sense. So it's like yeah, like that's the most powerful wand in existence. You could be the most powerful wizard to ever live.
And
Yeah, I've got no interest in that. And then you gotta remember, if he puts it back or put it somewhere where someone wouldn't find it, anyone who finds it after that, that's his fault.
automatically, yeah, because it's well known that he was the last owner of it.
But here's the thing, though.
So people would always try and find him. And if people knew that he broke it in the end and destroyed it, nobody would go looking for it.
But that's the thing. Only people that are going to know that he broke it are him, Ron, and Hermione.
But even then, is it more important to have people searching for something that they can find, or searching for something that doesn't exist?
No, absolutely. There's that. There's definitely that as well. But
like
now,
I would let people chase their tails for the next 40, 50 years, knowing full well that the shit's out of existence and no one ever will it again with ill intention.
Yeah, but
and here's the other part.
Now, if they're still gonna come looking for him, like, go where that wand at, cuh? And they're not gonna believe him when he says he broke it. So now he's just asking for problems.
Even then. So it's like, so here's my thing. Either way, so he chose the lesser of two evils because you're claiming that people are gonna still want all the smoke because they know he has the wand. Well, it's like, even if he did still have the wand, people are still going to have to come, or still going to come looking for it. And at some point in time, someone would wind up getting it from him. Someone would, one way or another, because that's what always happens. So it's like, would you rather have the Elder Wand be no longer an issue, period, or have to have it in your possession, have to worry about someone coming to get it?
And always have that worry.
Right?
And it's inevitable. Like, the day will come. I think he should have gone back into the woods and found the freaking resurrection stone that he dropped on the ground.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would have done that too. Because, like, fuck, if you're gonna break the wand, fuck, get rid of anything else.
Fuck.
Just get rid of the rest of the Deathly Hallows too.
The only thing that he keeps is the invisibility cloak.
Well, I guess because that's like a gift from his dad, and you can't really do too much because that was the only one that was given truly without, like, that's the only Deathly Hallow that was like
inherited.
Well, no, even then, aside from that, that was the only Deathly Hallows whose, like, past and lineage wasn't like death and destruction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the only brother who evaded death because of the invisibility cloak. So death never followed him.
Exactly. Death can never find him until the day that he decided to take the cloak off. And he was like, hey, well, and he greeted death. And it's written, I believe it's written, and he greeted death as an old friend.
Yes.
Yep.
I think that the Deathly Hallows as a whole, like, and individually, each Deathly Hallow, like, are not, in my opinion, are not touched on, like, the importance of them enough in the franchise. Like nobody would have known that the invisibility cloak that Harry had was the invisibility cloak, like, from death.
Yeah. Like,
unless you read the books, like, and knew about what was going on.
Exactly. But even then, it would have been, because apparently from the way that Ron said, it's like, oh, snap, it's a visibility cloak. He knew what it was, which means they're at least somewhat common. You know what I mean? But no one would have known that specific invisibility cloak was the one from the stories.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I just feel like I agree with you though. I wish that it was touched on more in the story about how these things have shaped the wizarding world along their path. We hear about it clearly. We hear about it with the Elder Wand because that lineage has, especially the great battle between Grindelwald and Albus when Albus got won the wand himself. You know what I mean? We've heard about
Yeah.
these things. We know about these things that, and this and that, but we don't know about the resurrection stone. We don't know really the how or where the cloak got passed down, what happened to it after after it passed on to his kids or whatever. But no, I just feel like I don't know. There was just a lot there that really could have been more explained.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
But in general, like, I also wanted to point out before we head out here, when it comes to the dark arts, the dark arts isn't just spell casting either. It's also
No.
other conjurings like a basilisk. A basilisk is considered dark arts. It's considered an abomination.
Necromancy is dark arts.
With the inferiors, that's considered dark arts as well. That's dark magic. And there's a lot of dark arts and dark magic that we don't hear about or see in the movies and the books, but pardon me, but in the games, we in the game Hogwarts Legacy, you get to see a lot of it. You get to see somebody who accidentally turns himself into an inferi.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a little side quest.
In the books, this is kind of interesting. In the books, it explains how Dumbledore has this bookshelf in his office, and on this bookshelf are tomes of ancient magic and dark spells that are literally too dangerous to even keep in the library's restricted section.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know that in the books, Tom Riddle tries to steal or obtain some of these books from Dumbledore's office. And Dumbledore never trusted him again.
So, want to know what's wild? And let's also point out that the game is canon. Hogwarts Legacy is canon. When you play through the game, you find out a lot of shit, a lot of lore that isn't even thought of or touched on within the Harry Potter universe that we know of.
Yeah. No, I bet. I bet.
And you learn a lot about Hogwarts, the school itself. That there's certain there's certain things within the school itself that nobody knows of, that nobody knows about, right? And then especially the biggest plot point of the game involves the school. And so after you play the game and you realize what this means for, mind you, this is only 100 years. I believe this takes place 100 years before. No. Fantastic Beasts was 100 years. Let me fact check myself before I say this.
I thought it was 100 years before Voldemort.
You know what? I think that's what it is. I think it's 100 years. So Hogwarts Legacy takes place in the 1890s, specifically the 1890s.
So 1990s was when Harry was born. So
yeah, this time period was probably chosen so players could see the Goblin Rebellion firsthand. All right, so this takes place during the Goblin Rebellion. That's when apparently the game takes place.
That's that's a perfect example though, right there. I never even knew about a Goblin Rebellion.
Neither did I.
Yeah, they touched on it. That's why goblins really, as a part of the reason why the goblins don't really fuck with wizards like that. Remember going through Green Gots and they're all like rude and mean and shit like that. That's a part of it. I mean, there's more that goes further back than the game. Hogwarts takes place during the 1800s, specifically the 1890s, via the PlayStation State of Play video. The time period was probably chosen. All right, cool. What else? There's got to be more to that. I need more explanation. That's not good enough for me. Hogwarts Legacy is placed before any of the other installments of the series. Set in 1890, this video game's story occurs 100 years before Harry Potter arrives at Hogwarts and 36 years before the events of Fantastic Beasts. All right, so it's 36 years before Fantastic Beasts. Fantastic Beasts is in 1920s. Yeah, so it is 100 years. So yeah, it's 100 years before Harry Potter story take place.
Yeah.
Now, let me see how. Oh, okay. So technically, Dumbledore, when Hogwarts Legacy takes place, Dumbledore's not even at Hogwarts yet. He's 2 years away from getting his letter.
Wow.
Yeah. Hogwarts Legacy is set in the 1890s, meaning that Dumbledore was only 9 when the game begins.
See, now, if somebody made a movie about Dumbledore, do you think fans would watch it?
Absolutely, about his him. Well, I don't know. You'd have to do his story would have to be some amazing shit. Like clearly, we know about the Battle of Grindelwald, but there has to be more shit that happens beforehand.
Well, he becomes the most powerful sorcerer in the world, so it could be about his obtaining of knowledge and things that he has to do or things that he chooses to find and all on his rise to power.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, but I don't know. I don't think there will be enough in it for one to really be like, oh, I gotta see this. I want to see this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think it's one of those things where it depends on how they did it. Like if they showed a younger version of him and him going through school and the stuff he uncovers and things that happen or stuff that goes on, that would be cool. But I think it would be more interesting to show him later on in life, not so much as 11, 12, but 18, 19, maybe not 18, 19, maybe him being 16, 17, in the last few years of school, and then him finding out things about the school that other people didn't know, or realizing things about the Ministry of Magic, and that's why he doesn't trust them later on in life.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
If he found out a certain level of government corruption or a conspiracy, or the reason why the Muggles have the issues they do with the Wizarding Worlds because the Wizards did something years ago and it's it all got covered up. And you gotta remember, Dumbledore's father had killed Muggles.
Correct, which is why they moved to Pivot Drive.
So he already had a bit of a wild reputation as far as that way. And then let's not forget his whole relationship with Gellert Grindelwald.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
So that's another thing too that was we know about it, but it's we haven't seen it.
And that's why fuck, which one is it? Where also, Order of the Phoenix. That's why when the Ministry runs down on Dumbledore in his office, They ran down on him so hard, like, oh, we knew, we were waiting for you to do this. We knew you always had something against the ministry. That's why it was so believable when they lied and said, like, yo, he's trying to take down the ministry. That's why it was so believable. Because
even
his
then,
family, Dumbledore's already had a reputation, air quotes.
Because Dumbledore was a member of the Wizard Mott, and he probably was an individual in the ministry that had a lot of disagreements with what was going on morally.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% absolutely. But no, that's interesting. So they are dropping, apparently Hogwarts Legacy 2 is in the makes. They are working on Hogwarts Legacy 2. So I'm interested to see at one, I would like them to allow you to carry over your character that you made, you know what I mean, and like just continue that character's story, because technically 2 years you start as a 5th year, 2 years you'll be a 7th year. In 2 years, Albus would just be a 1st year just starting. They can have a whole like part where you like kind of, you know, you run into him and help him out and stuff like that.
That would be interesting.
But yeah, and even then, as a 7th year, they would be able to just expand so much more on the world. They can bring in the other schools, because that's another thing about Hogwarts Legacy. They heavily talk about other schools around the world. They talk about the Japanese school, Makatori or something like that. They talk about the African school, Wagadu. I can't remember how to pronounce it. But that's in like the that's in like the mountains of Nigeria, where they only used they don't use wands. All their magic is done by hand. And then we already know about the other two European schools, Domstrom and Bobaton, and then there's a Brazilian school of magic as well.
That's all freaking awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. There's magic schools all around the world, and there's a bunch of them that we don't get to see. We actually get to see. Excuse me, sorry. In Hogwarts Legacy, one of your flying instructor is from the Japanese. She's a transfer from the Japanese school of witchcraft and wizardry. Your divinations instructor is one of your support characters' mothers, who is from Nigeria, from the who transfers from the African school, right? And then your beast class, she's from Korea, you know, and so yeah, there's just so much that they can add in and do, and it's such an amazing world. But no, I thoroughly enjoy Harry Potter. I enjoy, you know, everything, and I wish they would dive a little bit deeper into the dark arts a little bit more. Because there's a lot of wild stuff apparently that, you know, takes place, and like I said, I feel like they did an amazing job with diving deeper into it with the game as well, because again, we get to see infers. You see somebody get created, you know, turn into an inferi. There's actually, you know, some of the enemies that you fight actually have the ability to conjure inferis. So
That's
not
cool.
only are you fighting like 3 other people, but now you got to worry about 5 inferi that are immune to most magic unless you set them on fire.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you have a fire spell on hand, while also making sure that you have other spells that work against the other opponents. It's a lot, and the combat is amazing. Like the combos and how fluid it is, it's great and it's amazing. But nah, yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on y'all guys' final thoughts on on dark magic and the dark arts within the Harry Potter world?
I've yet to see it being portrayed well.
Agreed.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I I I mean, knowing how ancient this history of magic goes back, so there's probably a plethora of dark spells and dark magic that nobody has even heard of or seen or talked about like in centuries, like in the modern wizarding world. And another point, I think it would be cool if they made a movie about the founding of Hogwarts with all of the 4 founders and like the creating of the Chamber of Secrets by Salazar Slytherin and him leaving the diary for his next heir to find inside the castle. And
well, here's something crazy about the games, right? So the game takes place at that 100 years before the movies or the books, right? Now, everything that sets everything in motion in the games takes place actually centuries ago.
Okay.
So as old as we think Hogwarts is, it's actually older. Like,
yeah,
Hogwarts was around when people were living in hamlets. They were cooking over open fires.
Yeah, literally, like back to the times when wizards
Like medieval
still wore like, pointy hats every single day.
Apparently Merlin attended Hogwarts.
See, like that kind of shit. Like that's cool.
That kind of shit. Interesting enough, Merlin actually plays a part in the game too.
I bet he does. That sword keeper.
So it's not he's not actually there. It's just you find things that are related to him in the game. They're collectibles. They're like collectibles that are Merlin related. But again, highly recommend you guys play this damn game.
You know what? I might buy it.
It's worth the buy, bro. Character creation is nice. It's decent. It's not incredibly in depth, but you can give your character your own style, your own feel, your own flair. But it's cool because we get to see magic wielded differently. There's a character, so Gaunt, the character that I'm talking about, his name is Ominous Gaunt. He's blind. But his wand, he uses his wand. You know how a blind person has their stick or a seeing eye dog?
Yeah.
His wand acts as that. So he's able to traverse the castle, do what he needs to do all his work because his wand sees for him.
That's cool. That's cool.
Seeing eye stick.
What happened?
He has a seeing eye stick.
Yeah, a seeing eye wand.
Does it like magically extend?
No, it's literally just a wand, and as he moves, it looks like there's like an aura at the end of his wand as he moves about.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he holds it out as if it was a seeing eye stick.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's really cool. We get to see there's actually a part where it does dive into the history of one of the Unforgivable Curses, specifically Crucio. And that's actually where you end up learning. You actually learn the curse in that moment too. You have a choice, and again, everything is a choice. The choices you make do matter. Not a lot, not like Mass Effect, but they do matter.
Do the choices you make affect the outcome of the game?
Not too much. Not too much. They do, but not on a massive scale. So like a game like Mass Effect, your choices literally change the ending of the game.
Yeah, correct.
But not necessarily with this one. You do get to make a choice at the end of the game that I'm pretty sure changes, like, there's probably like 2 paths at the end of the game. But I had to, again, I'm only on my second playthrough. Clearly in my first one, clearly I picked kind of like the good path. But so this one I'm gonna pick the bad path to go down just to see what that ending's like. So yeah, it's not too crazy with how much it affects you, but it definitely affects your relationships with other characters. It affects you being able, like I said, to get, because if you make the wrong choice and you don't make the right choice in order to get that unforgivable curse, it's locked out for the rest of the game. You don't get another chance to get it.
See, I like that though. That's
Yeah, I
like,
do too.
cool.
It's cool. It's definitely cool. Like my fiance, when she was playing, she got locked out of one of the curses too. Yeah, she got locked out of one of the curses. And then when she told me about it, I was like, wait, no. You got to make the other decision if you want to get the curse. She's like, oh. I'm like, damn, you're locked out. Can't go back unless you reload your save from before you made the choice.
Huh.
Auto save will save your life. But no, I think this has been a great episode. It's been fun. We started super late, so we're going to call it on this one. Tune in next week for the big episode. Trivia. Hopefully we'll have a special guest on. We will see if they are able to make it or not. But it's gonna be great. Gonna be trivia, gonna be giving away, swag bags. It's gonna be an awesome time. We're gonna have a lot of fun. 3 years next week. I cannot wait. Any final words for the people before we go?
Fuck prep time.
I agree. Fuck prep time. Triage, what you got to say?
That if you ever find yourself in a fight in a restroom, remember the only thing that you have to avoid is the toilet water, the soap dispenser, and the urinal.
What about the mirror?
That's what I'm using as a weapon.
I mean, you can use. I don't know about you. I'm using all that shit as a weapon. I'm smashing heads through the porcelain throne. I'm smashing heads through the sink. I'm probably gonna try to choke them out with the toilet seat. But nah, yeah. When you scrapping in the bathroom, watch out for that toilet water. So we'll catch y'all until next time. This has been a Super Breakdown. I'm Power Maximus. We're here with Lord Triage as always, and Darth Legacy himself, Jason M40. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.